Studio.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Common Sense AI, brought to you by Top Tier Project Services, where we're working to change the face of American education. This video series is all about Common Sense AI and some basic stuff that we can do to leverage AI more in our personal lives, but also improve our business or personal workflows. Now, when it comes to AI, there's all kinds of products you can purchase out there. There's different bots you can do. There's all these get rich quick schemes that are out there that you can take advantage of, right? However, what I find is that it's better to teach concepts and to understand how to use AI than it is to buy the latest AI tool or resource. The reason why is because AI is accelerating so fast that by the time you buy that and start using that, there'll be another tool that's even better, right? So it's better to understand the concepts of AI. So in video one, which is our episode one, it's where we introduce the CIIO framework. CIIO stands for context, instruction, in scope, and out of scope. It's a framework that'll help you to reduce hallucinations and improve your prompts and the outputs that you get from your AI. In video series number two, we then showed you how to use the CIIO framework to then create a prompt assistant. Now, the prompt assistant or prompt engineer is what you use to create additional assistants, right? Is that whole good begets good. Now, in this series, now I'm going to show you how you can use that prompt assistant to help you out to make a different kind of assistance that will help you in your day-to-day life or in your professional life. So let's get started. So right here, what you see is I have a previous prompt. This is my AI prompt creation guy or my prompt engineer that I showed you guys how to create in the previous video. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for three things, right? There's three kind of support that I can use really easily and that I can use AI to help me out a lot. The three things that I'm going to cover in this video is going to be a writing assistant to help you to write stuff for either social media content or to proofread emails or to make instructions clearer, right? There's also a research assistant that'll help you to research and identify the 80-20 or the Pareto principle of what is it that you need to talk about. And the last one we'll go over is a brainstorming assistant, an assistant that'll help you to brainstorm different things that you can do. So the first one, right? Remember we use the CIIO framework, right? You are a writing assistant that will help people put their thoughts on paper and improve the clarity of their writing. I want you to help create I guess for this one, we're going to look at what it is that we want to create, right? So you want to tell it an example of different things, create instructions, process overviews, and summaries of specified content, right? Now we're telling it what it is and gave it some examples, right? So that's the instruction. Now we go with the in scope. I want you to ensure all content or writings are in compliance with the TTPS CIIO framework and prompt stacks. All of these outputs need to be 80 readability or higher flesh scale, right? So then that's the in scope. Now, what that really does is it really just kind of helps the AI to understand, hey, what's my left and right limit? So the CIIO framework is something that we use all the time at Top Tier, and it helps it to understand what it is that we're talking about. And I also upload the different documents, right? In addition to that, Another thing that I'll do is I can actually add those documents directly here. Now, mind you, I've used them several times, so they're kind of this AI already kind of knows it. So I'm just going to reference the document and it'll understand what it needs to do. Now, another thing that I also added is the prompt stack framework, right? That's something else that we wanted to make sure that it understands and it uses that to improve the outputs, right? So that's the in scope. Now, another one that I added is the AD readability score or higher. That's a flesh scale. If you guys remember, I don't know, at one point in time you were in school or maybe in college, someone talked to you about the readability of what it is that you're writing, whether you're doing technical writing, formal writing, right, essay writing, or process writing, right, well, whatever kind of writing you're doing, there's a certain readability score that you can assign to it. So for me, what I do is I set the threshold at 80 readability score on the Flesh scale. My AI already knows that. It could also pull from the web and know how to do that. But really, what it means is any of the outputs that get produced by this writing assistant, it's going to be 80 readability score or higher. That means an eighth grader can read it, right? Now, this is something that's very useful for when you're doing formal communications, when you're following up on other services, right? Or when you're doing inter-office or interdepartmental communications or just sending out instructions to people, right? Making sure that your stuff is 80 readability score or higher will make sure that even an eighth grader can read it and understand it, right? And obviously, you can change the readability scores as you see fit. One point of emphasis that I'll have for this is a lot of the technical writing, a lot of the instruction manuals, a lot of the process overviews, a lot of emails, frankly, that I would receive as a small business owner, but also just working out in corporate America. A lot of them are with a lot of jargon, and I can't really. Sometimes you really can't understand them, or you have to read them like 3 or 4 times, right? To really understand it. And as we all know, most people just won't read that email, right? So this is how you avoid that. What you want to do is simply make sure that it's readability, it's readable, right? It's got an 80 readability score or higher according to the Flesh scale, and it'll go from there, right? Now, as far as out of scope for this one, I don't want you to write for me, just organize my thoughts and avoid hallucinations, right? So if you've been following the channel, you know that hallucinations is when the AI just makes stuff up. So because of that, I always tell it, hey, I don't want you to write for me, just organize my thoughts and avoid hallucinations. What this means is that a lot of people think that, hey, I could just write something into AI and it'll pop it out, and I copy and paste it and I'm done, right? But it's actually not that simple because you're the person that's providing the content. You're the knowledge base, right? And the AI is only as good as the knowledge base that it's tapping into. Now, if you let it tap into the World Wide Web and gives it a bunch of different ways where it can pull information from, then it's gonna give you a ton of different information, right? As we know, there's a lot of stuff on the internet. It's not actually true. So you don't want it to pull from there. You want the writing system to pull from you and what you want it to say, right? So let's see what the output it produces now. I'll go ahead and load it up. Now, this is what the AI actually produced. If you've been following our prompts that we've given you, it'll produce the same thing. It'll go through what's in scope, the instruction, what's out of scope, and the embedded control stacks. And I also give it examples and then finalize it with an objective, right? So next thing what you want to do here is just create a new chat. As you're creating a new chat, all you want to do is copy paste it in there, and then it's going to create that assistant for you. From now on, this assistant or this new chat that you just created will go ahead and not only write out the stuff that you need to, but it also help you to refine your stuff, right? And refine what it is that you're saying. So from there, it'll just kind of produce it. So this is your one-time assistant. It'll learn from you as you're developing. That's just one of the assistants that you can create. Another one that we're going to go into is a research assistant, right? So now this is where the AI kind of speeds up. I can still use the CIIO framework. However, it already has a lot of the information. Now, this one is just be the research assistant. So you are a professional research assistant that helps students identify the main topics and key concepts in written, video, and audio material, right? So that just lets him know what it is. Hey, you're a professional research assistant that kind of does this, right? Um, and you do the research to help it out. I also specify what kind of material, whether it's um, main topics, what kind of materials, whether it's audio, video, or it's an actual written material that you'll actually use. Now, within this, I give it as context. You're a professional research assistant that helps students identify the main talking points and key concepts in written, video, and audio material, right? I want you to review material provided and produce a readable summary of key concepts and ideas, along with links to follow on information to research, right? That's kind of where it's telling it now, this is what I want you to do. This is the instruction, right? As far as in scope, when you produce outputs, make them 80 readability score or higher. Flesh scale, right? That goes to our previous one where we want the AI to produce stuff that's actually understandable. But now I'm going to add something. I want you to produce outputs in the meal writing structure, right? This is something that I learned while I was getting my MBA. The meal structure stands for, this is where I'm going to tell you what it is, because if I don't tell you what it is, it'll make it up, it'll hallucinate, right? Main idea, right? Um, Evidence, right? So what's the evidence of what you're researching and what you're saying, right? Analysis and link. I don't want you to hallucinate, and make sure you are in compliance with the TTPS prompt stack and CIIO framework. So then from there, I'll just go ahead and enter, and I'll let it go ahead and produce this next output. So that's the research assistant. Now, how you can use this is, obviously it's thinking for itself, but I could pull different documents, right? I could pull different folders. I could put them in there and, hey, just summarize this. What's the key talking points? And they put in the meal writing structure. From there, all you do is just go research additionally or whatever it may be. Now, me personally, I've been in college since I was about 19 years old, since I joined the United States Army. And I've been in a lot of college courses, right? Sometimes they'll give you, one or two chapters to read, and you have to write about that and understand and have an assignment due. Sometimes some of these professors like to give you like 10, 50 different chapters to read. It's a lot of material, right? Early on in my college career, I found that I was reading all the material, and then when it came down to taking the tests or doing the actual lesson or the content, I realized I didn't need to read all that material, right? So now what's the advancement of that is tailor an AI so that it understands how you want to do. This is your prompt stack that you'll use from now on. Now it's still developing, right? And it'll develop from there. But what you can do is you'll save this assistant, right? This is your research assistant. You'll talk to it, you'll upload different stuff over time. The embedded prompt stacks that I have, it's going to learn from me and it's going to adopt itself to me. Now, as it's loading, right, it'll go from there. This would be your second assistant. What I would say is add this to your guys' prompt book or whatever you have. When you're adding it to whatever prompt book you may have, now you can not only use this yourself, but you can share this with other people, right? And it still has everything that it has before. So now I go right back in there. I go into a new chat, right? And it'll go ahead and put it in there. Then I just simply upload the prompt stack, right? This is the second prompt stack that we are creating, right? This is the research assistant, right? So now the next one that we'll go into is just the brainstorming assistant. Now, as far as a brainstorming assistant, this is something that's a little bit different. It's more in the generated portion of AI, right? When it comes to this one, what it's going to do is just give you suggestions, right? Now, this is very much an assistant. It's not going to think for you. So you'll have to provide this context, right? So now what it's doing now, I'm going to correct some of these words so it's easier. As you can tell, I kind of write in shorthand. You really don't need to correct these words, but the AI needs to think anyways and catch up. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to go ahead and fix them real quick. Also, I have a little bit of OCD for it. So now let's see how it goes. It's going to go ahead and pump out a new assistant. The new assistant is going to be one that helps out with different brainstorming ideas. Let's say you want to come up with different restaurants to eat, different kind of events that you have for a baby shower, right? Whatever brainstorming thing you would need, right? This is just kind of there to help you. Now, out in corporate America, one way that you can use this is maybe you could identify common risk categories for a project, right? Or common threats for someone's IT infrastructure, or maybe you wanted to help you organize folders for a SharePoint or a share drive, right? Different stuff like that. Now, here it is where it's building it, and then I can go from there. Now, this has been the video. What I did on this video is show you the different prompt stacks that you guys can go ahead and create using your prompt engineer. 3 assistants that we showed you how to do is the writing assistant, the research assistant, and the brainstorming assistant, right? Now, these different brain assistants are what you can use to help you to develop your content, to help you to improve your content, to understand how to use AI in a better fashion. Now, with that being said, what you need to do is apply the CIIO framework, apply creating a prompt engineer using the CIIO framework. And then now you want to understand what is it that I need help with, right? 3 common sense things are the writing assistant, research assistant, and the brainstorming assistant. But don't let that stop you. What you need to do is look at your day to day. Look at the problems, look at the stuff that takes a lot of your time, right? Ask yourself, can I make something that reduce the amount of time this takes, right? Can I make something that'll harness my internal knowledge, right? And just speed me up a little bit. And that's what AI does. It doesn't replace you. It speeds you up. It supports you. It augments what it is that you're creating. At the end of the day, you got to remember that you're the one that still has all the knowledge. So anyways, this is a little bit longer episode, but episode 3, it's where we use our CIIO framework and the prompt assistant to create 3 credible assistants that'll help you out in your day-to-day tasks. If you like the video, please like, follow, subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube. Don't forget to check out the label and drop us your best bars to the beat. I'll catch you guys around. Hey.